weekend, we saw Doctor Strange with Benedict Cumberbatch, your favorite. We were so stoked for this movie. I like Marvel movies. Like, there's never been a Marvel movie I didn't like. But I've noticed over time, and I think I've talked about it in some other videos too, all of the movies have a sequence.
Well, everything's formulaic now.
I know, but like the 12 movies they've put out, it's probably not accurate numbers. It starts off in a foreign place, Africa, Russia,
Kathmandu in this case.
You are introduced to the villain. It goes back the character, and they're like living their regular life. Then something happens to the character. Then there's like a mini battle fight scene. The character has to team up and they train. There's another mini fight. Then something happens to the character that affects them and changes them in some way. And then there's
You sound like Miss Cruz.
I sound like my acting teacher. Miss Riley. And then there's the big 20-minute fight scene. A lot of the time, frankly, I get bored during that part, but that's, I mean, some people really enjoy that part. There's like the resolution, and somewhere along the way, Stanley makes an appearance. And no, but before I say it, it might sound like some like BS thing, but check it with the movie. I swear to God.
The counter argument, Exhibit A, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. You may say it didn't start in a foreign place.
No.
Because it started on Earth.
It didn't.
However,
it didn't start on Earth. He was already in space at that point.
But the backstory at the foreign place, it may have been Earth, but because it takes place in the galaxy, Earth is a foreign place to them.
You're getting the order mixed up. He's already in space at this point. You don't even know who the villain is.
I'm high on believing
that
you're in love with me, 'cause Maddie was wrong. Okay, Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, is an acclaimed and successful neurosurgeon. He's kind of a jerk in the beginning before he like learned his lesson, and then he was rude to his girlfriend. She is another doctor in the ER. She's played by Rachel McAdams. You know, Regina George from Mean Girls. She did a good job. Hope she does more in the next movie. Anyway, he burns his bridge with her, and she's like, you know what, I'm done.
And he's traveled the world, and eventually he comes across the Ancient One, who's like this like magician.
Not a
magician.
magician.
Seems to, well, she is. It just seems
to like fake,
hoaxy.
like, yeah, like rabbit out of a hat. Like, it's not like magic you learn with like a magic wand. It's like what you do inside your mind. It's a very like trippy movie, because at first he's like, I can't do it, I'm a scientist, I don't believe in this.
I'm a very logical person, reasoning and numbers, and yeah. If someone said, hey, you can do magic, I'd be like, sign me up. I wouldn't be like, that's not possible.
Well, he was very full of himself. But then there is some evil man,
Caecilius.
Caecilius was an old student of the Ancient One. Tilda Swinton did a really good job. Her character kind of annoyed me, but I think that was just her character. Like, for some reason, there was something kind of like off-putting about the Ancient One character.
In the comics, not only was the Ancient One Asian as opposed to Celtic, but the Ancient One was also a guy. So it's cool that it was a girl. I did like Tilda Swinton. I think she did a good job. I think she made the character really three-dimensional.
Like, I saw all these things on like Tumblr, social justice warriors. I mean, I agree with a lot of stuff you're saying, but most of it, I'm just like, are you kidding me? They're like, it is so rude and racist that they are whitewashing this movie.
I feel bad, like, making
also,
excuses for whitewashing.
No, I feel like people are being a little too sensitive for this, especially because they changed the character so drastically. I don't know, but like a lot of like the henchmen and warriors, I noticed that there were a lot more female warriors in this than male, but I definitely that stuck out to me, because especially in the beginning, you were first introduced to the villain. I don't want to give up too much away, but they were like a bunch of his henchmen, I guess, like 4 of them or so. No, there was like 10. I was like, wait, those are girls. Like, there were more girls than I think I've ever seen, and I thought that was really cool.
And they weren't being like objectified or anything.
No,
like, they were dressed in the same clothes as the guys.
Exactly. Like, they had their hair in low ponytails, and like that was it. Usually I notice in these kind of movies, a woman isn't really in this kind of position unless she's a woman for a specific reason, but I noticed that, and I thought that was really cool. Time when Doctor Strange gets better at his practice, he learns about something, I don't want to give too much away, where he can change time back and forth, he ends up saving the world.
The movies actually did a really good job of portraying Doctor Strange from the comics. Like, they're really similar. In the comics, there's like a little bit of a backstory of why Doctor Strange wanted to become a doctor. When he was 19, he came home after like going off to college, and he was swimming with his sister Donna. She ended up suffering a cramp and drowned. He figured, hey, if I'm a doctor, I can save people. I could have saved my sister.
But even though he had good intentions of becoming a doctor, he ended up getting
really
so
successful.
successful, and everything just like went to his head.
He went through medical school at like a record-breaking rate. He went into like a 5-year position at the New York hospital, and he just became so successful and so famous that he became really arrogant, and everything just kind of... He's a longtime friend of Spider-Man, so that's cool. Doctor Strange is actually married. He has an estranged wife, and after they were married, they're estranged because he found out that she is the niece of Dormammu. So that's cool. So Dormammu's his uncle-in-law.
You'll find out who Dormammu is later on in the movie when you see it, or if you read the comics. So I thought Benedict Cumberbatch did an amazing job. I love him as an actor, and he got everything down to the accent, because God, that accent, his American accent, it was phenomenal, but it was so weird. Oh, it was so weird. I don't like him with his American accent. I like his British accent.
It's strange.
Notice that some words, it sounded just a little bit British, just a little bit. Like, they had that like open awe sound. Thanks, Diction. He's so good. I love him. I bet the director told Benedict Cumberbatch to do this, but the collar was flapped down on the cape, and you know how Sherlock always like has his coat collar and he always like flips it up? He did that with the cape. The cape was kind of like carpet from Aladdin. So one last thing we gotta talk about is the special effects.
Oh, phenomenal. They were so like trippy, and like, there was like kaleidoscope stuff in different dimensions, and there was like a good 3 minutes of Doctor Strange just like going through the different dimensions, and it was honestly just so cool and breathtaking, and like I have no other way to describe it other than like trippy.
Normally I'd be like, oh, 3 minutes of like exposition or whatever, because there was like a voice talking in the background. Like the Ancient One was like giving him information and stuff while he was going through all the different dimensions. It was just so cool. Honestly, I could see a whole movie that was just Benedict Cumberbatch floating through different dimensions. I'd pay money to watch that. My favorite character was Wong.
That was what I was gonna say. He was the librarian slash bookkeeper at like the temple place. I think it's
He's
cool
a chill dude.
that he was a librarian. He would die to be a librarian.
Me too, Wong.
I would say Doctor Strange is good for all ages, but honestly though, like it wasn't that violent.
If your parents let you see Civil War, then
you're totally fine. It's really awesome, and I totally recommend you should see it. It is definitely Tweeks approved. Oh, and that's all for now.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Periscope, add us on Snapchat, like us on Facebook.
Subscribe to us on YouTube.
And check back every Thursday on ComicMix.com for new videos.
Bye!